Okay, after I took my shahada, I still drank. And this is what this story is about. This was the second thing that I did fisabilillah. The first one was eating pork, and this is the story about that. Now, I make dua, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me a sign if He wants me to do something, and to make it kind of obvious because I'm kind of dumb. Now, this story is an example of both parts of that dua. So, by the time I took Shahada, I was a social drinker. Not like when I was a kid. But, I would drink like a bottle of wine with dinner. That was basically what I did. I didn't go to parties or anything at this point. But pretty much just a bottle of wine with dinner. So I collected a lot of wine because I really enjoyed wine from all over the world. I was almost an amateur connoisseur, I guess, but it was still just after dinner, and I never drank to get drunk. So, after, I'm new Muslim, and I'm still, it's so hard to talk about this because, this is just sin, and if I don't hide my sin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if I don't hide my sin, He may not forgive me for it. Now, everything that I did before I took Shahada is no big deal. But it's the things that I did after I took Shahada that I worry about. And this is one of the things. So, people that are watching this video and saying, well, that's not very Islam or whatever, this is the way it is. I'm a revert Muslim. I was born in Canada. I didn't marry a Lebanese woman or an Arab woman to become Muslim. This is my fight, my struggle, and it's gonna be my accountability. So anyways, that being said, I'll try and continue with this example of how I'm a bad Muslim. Okay, so, I would go out for dinner and drink a bottle of wine, and one day, one morning after I had gone out, that next morning, I was sick and actually throwing up, vomiting in the toilet. And it's been years and years and years since I got literally sick after drinking. So the next time I went out, I drank a half a bottle, and this is still split between me and my wife, and it's the same thing, I was Muslim, my wife wasn't Muslim at this point, anyways, and like I would get a half a bottle, get sick from that, and then, and another time I went out and I just thought I would, just get a glass, I can't possibly get sick from a glass of wine, but, it's what happened, and so I stayed home and I drank a small glass of wine at home, and, that made me sick too, and I sort of, kind of got the impression that maybe, just maybe, my rub, didn't want me to drink anymore. So, this was kind of an issue though with me, because I like to drink wine. I had a lot of wine. I had 10 bottles of German white wine, which was my favorite, and I had 7 bottles of this red wine from all over the world. Anyways, in my collection, but still having all this, I made the niyyah to quit drinking, and I did, and I swear by Him in whose hand my soul is in, I haven't touched a drop since that time that I made that niyyah, alhamdulillah. So I know that this was a sign from my Lord for me to stop drinking, because I ask now to give me a sign and make it kind of obvious because I'm kind of dumb, and this is an example of that. So, anyways, I still, I had the whole thing this is about is I still had these 17 bottles of wine. Now, I knew that I couldn't sell them to anybody because, I spent a lot of money on this crap and it was stupid, but, nonetheless, it was done, and so I thought, well, I'll give it to somebody. But then I thought, I can't give it to anybody because then, that's even worse, well, not even worse, but that's terrible too because then I'm poisoning them with something I don't want to poison myself with, so I had all this wine and, it just seemed like such a waste of money to pour it out, but I guess, and I sat with it in my house for like 6 months, and I just couldn't pour it out. It just seemed like such a waste of money. I worked so hard to buy all that, been collecting it for so long. It was like something that I took pride in. Just ridiculous as it is now. And then like I say, about 6 months after I quit drinking, my wife, she had become Muslim by this point, and she had said, that maybe the wine, because we were in a little bit of fitna at the time, and my wife said, maybe the wine's what's holding us back. We're not drinking it, but it's still in our house. It's the only thing, and she was right. And finally, one evening, it was very late, it was very, very late, like around midnight, my wife mentioned again, maybe we should just pour this out. So we said, yeah, okay, let's do it. So we got the corkscrew and brought everything to the sink and started opening bottles of wine. Now, this was kind of an issue because I thought, oh man, I haven't had any wine for so long. As soon as I start popping these bottles of all my favorite wine, I'm just going to want to just have a taste or whatever. It's going to be so hard to pour out. So, I popped the first cork, Bismillah, popped it out, Bismillah, and poured it out down the sink till it was gone. Then I grabbed the next one, Bismillah, opened it, and poured it. Then I grabbed the next one, and opened it, and poured it. Did all the red wine first, and then when I did the white wine, it was probably one of the last bottles of white wine. It was champagne, and when I opened that one, alhamdulillah, it popped, and there was champagne all over my house, all over the kitchen, all over the floor, the cupboards, everything. Alhamdulillah, my house smelled like a brewery after that. And it was the most disgusting thing ever. Alhamdulillah. That was great. One of the cool things that I think I've done in my life was watching 17 bottles of wine going down the sink. Now anytime anybody passes me anything, I pour it right out. Only one person's ever passed me a beer because I poured it out right at his feet. Anyways, that's my story about that one. All that is good and true in this story and everything else is from my Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all the mistakes are from me. Salam alaikum and salam.